go. Most powerful ability in the game acquired. The run is going to get quite a bit more crazy very soon.
Absolutely massive, Toadette. Grifs just took a few deaths getting sent back to that safety state.
I heard you guys like lore, right? Well, we have go fast left, we have go fast up with enemy, we have go fast down, and now we have go fast up without enemy. Charge jump acquired.
Hello, friends and folks, and welcome to day one of the Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament here in the year 2022. My screen name is Covert Muffin, and we're going to be featuring a match between Grifs versus Lion during the first day of qualifiers. And now for the qualifiers themselves, we are going to have multiple people racing. It's not just going to be these two runners, but we are going to be featuring just two of these runners because they are just very close together. And actually, these runners raced a few weeks ago and ended up having a time that was just about a minute apart. So very exciting, and we have the potential to have another close race here today. But of course, I could not be casting this match by myself, and I am joined with none other than 2Kill. 2Kill, how are you doing this fine evening?
Yeah, I am very excited. We've already had our first qualifier of this tournament earlier today. Was a close one with some pretty good times as well. So I'm very excited and hyped to see what the runners of this qualifier and our two featured runners in specific can do. Now, just a quick words from the tournament organizer side of things. We will have a total of 25 qualifiers over the next week and a half until the next Sunday. We have a total of 37 participants in this tournament.
Wow.
Which means that 10 people will have to face off in actual qualifiers later on, because we will be heading into a bracket of 32 people. And we have the next restreamed match on Sunday, 5 p.m. UTC, and on that note, we will have time zone changes in the majority of Europe, so please be sure to have your times checked and have everything ready. So, with that, we will get into the race shortly, I believe. And you already mentioned that we have some very closely matched runners here today.
Yeah, both of the runners are very experienced runners, as we are going to give our runners a 1-minute warning here. Over in the race time and get started. Actually, that has already started, so we'll be starting the race in about 30 seconds or so. But Grifs has just been in the community for a very long time, and they haven't really put in as much practice as they would have liked to because they haven't been able to play over the past few weeks. But they did take the win versus Lion in the first matchup, so they're hoping to take that momentum and maybe just play a nice, steady, even game and reach that sub-35 time.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see the timer ticking down, 8, 7. We will head in there soon. We have a total of 8 entrants to that race, so not only our 2 runners, but of course, let's focus on them and hope everything goes well. Prologue has been skipped already. Very well, 10 minutes done already, so hopefully everything goes well as we just hop to the left and collect our first skill, which will be Sign.
Yeah, fortunately, we are going to be getting that sign pickup. There is a funny leaderboard category where we actually end up skipping it, but sign is just going to be an auto-attacking ability that doesn't cost anything, and utilizing keyboard and mouse especially, we can end up attacking in pairs of 2 very quickly before having a short cooldown and attacking some additional targets. And here, picking up the first energy cell, which is actually required for the game itself. If we don't actually end up placing down a save there, then the Rhino just never actually ends up spawning. But the energy is going to be utilized to drop saves as well as utilize some nice fast movement tech by using the charge dash ability, which we will be speccing into as the run goes underway. But here we go, 2Kill. It's going to be the Frankie fight.
Yeah, and the Frankie fight is our first test of skills. You can attack with Sign in a very specific pattern to utilize the attacks as quickly as possible. So if everything goes right, our runners can just go to the right and no need to stop. There was a little hiccup on the side of Lion, but absolutely no problem for now. You can see our runners are basically synced for now and can close the map and head further to the right. Yeah, the first part, of course, with just jumping and running, not too exciting, but we will need to monitor our XP already because the entirety of the run will just be us paying attention to how many skill points we have and how much XP we have. For now, we're just making sure to get enough for a timed level up explosion. But before we get to that, we need to collect 2 keystones and to put into our first keystone door. And our runners will try to monitor their health so they can do what is called a ghost door, where we insert the keystones, save, and die right after to despawn the door shortly. So hopefully, if everything goes right, we will see that on our runner's side. And the deaths have been taken and the door is gone.
All right, and our runners are going to go underway. Both of them are going to be grabbing this optional 4th health cell. It only loses a few seconds to do so. There is about 8 seconds that ends up losing initially compared to optimal runners, but that timing is a little bit of subterfuge because our runners are going to opt to grab at least 5 health as they are going to go through. Grifs on the left, having a little bit of difficulty getting past the slime, is going to be on a low amount of health, so they have to slow down in order to be able to get through there, giving Lion a little bit of a few seconds of padding as they go through. Grifs ended up flashing the experience. I didn't quite see how much, but tapering the experience is incredibly important here because we want to take a timed level up. We see Lion is a little bit under, so they're going to slow down and collect some from these spores, bringing them just very nice within that 3 EXP window. And then coming down here, going for a Flower Pad skip, runs into the slime, but has just enough health to be able to get through there, takes the level up on the way down, and Grifs is also going to be leveling up on the way down, so no timing differential for our runners there, as Lion going to be the first to reach wall jump.
Yeah, and wall jump, just doing what it sounds like. It allows you to jump on walls, and yeah, that is important because there are a lot of walls in the game that our runners need to climb. Firstly, the one on the left to collect our second energy cell, which for now isn't too important, just gives us a bunch of extra saves. But will be more important after the next area where we are heading to, which will be Blackroot Burrow, because, well, this game has 2 more skills than its vanilla version, but yet the category is faster. So how does that work? We have the Go Zoom skill in that new area, and so our runners are heading there immediately to gain that time advantage by having that dash. So for now, just very precise wall jumping to get up very quickly. Need to make sure to get through those slimes. It will take a damage boost right here. Nicely done on the side of Grifs. Lion not too far behind, also gets it. So now we are heading to our first area and do our first save weirdness besides the ghost door, which will be the save anywhere.
Yeah, Grif's doing a really nice job just having a bit of cleaner wall jump movement to be able to close that timing differential between their opponent, as both of our runners collecting the slime's experience as they are going to be heading down. So here is going to be a save anywhere glitch. We'll turn the UI on after we watch a small cutscene. With it off, it actually skips the dialogue and then start the glitch, which allows us to move around with the ability menu up. Then, after we cross the cutscene trigger, we are going to end up leveling up an ability. We'll see what our runners opt to do. We see a Rekindle and a Quick Flame. So Grifs taking Rekindle means that they will be grabbing Magnet a little bit later on, where Lion is not. Lion will be picking up Rekindle as they come into this area. So that is going to be a big difference. That's going to make a trick much harder for Lion in a little bit after they get out of Blackroot. But the nice thing is that saving the game after crossing various cutscene triggers allows us to either enter them or skip them completely, which saves a bit over 20 seconds for that first cutscene there. And then we will end up seeing another save anywhere be utilized at the end of Blackroot as we raise the darkness. But here we go. Difficult jump. Grifs ends up falling down, and Lion also having struggle on the first one. But Grifs, nicely done, gets its second try as Lion is still trying to get up here, giving Grifs a slight advantage as he is pushing further into Blackroot.
Yeah, and I just always have to chuckle a bit. We get the fastest skill of the entire game in here, but yet this area is just full of auto-scrollers, which well, we all know are kind of slow. Every time we lose a cycle, we lose 8 seconds in this area. Oh, Lion unfortunately taking a death in the pit. Needs to do this again. Yeah, this is the danger of Blackroot Burrows. It might seem like a late, early game area, and it can be, but it's very dangerous if because everything just deals 3 damage. So yeah, having that extra damage or health is nice, but unfortunately does not prevent all deaths. Those lasers are also instant death, as Grifs with that has now a bit of an advantage, and going into the lantern room gets the cycle because of some nice manipulation earlier, and can lift the darkness before Lion gets into that room. But yeah, for now, just some auto scrollers before we're gonna see which variation of lifting the darkness we will get from our runners right here.
Yeah, really interesting thing here is that with Quick Flame, Lion is hoping to capitalize on that extra attack that you get to do. So instead of grouping of pairs of attacks before small cooldown, you can actually do 3 instead of just the 2. And really hoping to capitalize now on being able to destroy things a little bit faster. But with just the better and smooth execution that we've seen from Griff so far, just able to sort of mitigate that advantage. But Griff's going for a cutscene stack here by resaving the game. They're going to reload, stand still for a little bit, and then move to the right. So stacking 2 cutscenes here gives us control of Ori. No, Griff's was standing too far to the left, so not quite getting that cutscene stack. And so they are going to have to watch the tree activation. So if Lion is able to get this cutscene stack here, as we see them going for the same setup that we saw from Griff's, this will be a nice bit of time save for them over their opponent, as Griff's is heading into Frankie Walk.
Yeah, Frankie Walk, one of the biggest sequence breaks we will do in this run. We mentioned XP management before. I mentioned the energy cell we've picked up. Now these things combined, we will lure this Frankie over to the right side where there is a 4 energy door. We, of course, only have 2 energy right now, but with a timed level up, we cannot get our resources back. So we put 2 energy in, level up, put 2 more energy in, and get to a later game area, allowing us to skip a skill for now that isn't too important, and just be able to get to the good skills faster, get to Ginso tree faster, and just overall, yeah, sequence break the game. So here the magnet coming in handy, gets through here, but that's not it. There is the death gauntlet behind it. Needs to be careful because everything could mean death right here. The Frankie tries to stomp and gets through, but the spores are still there, as Lion also needs to be careful to not kill his Frankie too early. But Griff's having the energy cell now should be able to get a save down, so should be through, and indeed has done it, as Lion opened his door and also is in death gauntlet now.
Excellent job from Lion. It cannot be stressed enough that without the magnet ability, the radius of just the native magnet on Ori is incredibly small. And so grabbing that experience and then getting the first two energy into the door before you level up is absolutely critical to the trick. So Lion just showing off their prowess with the game. And Griff's on the left missed a trick, which is to get a little bit of an earlier cycle that is going to cost him about 8 seconds, but it's an incredibly precise trick. But on the right, here we go, Lion. They're able to get this. It'll close the distance. No, just not quite get the very precise movement required for that trick. So Griffs is going to be maintaining their lead as they are coming down to double jump tree, and we will see how they are going to be able to platform from here, because double jump is going to unlock some really neat additional movement tech, as Griffs is going to be attempting some blind movement here.
Yeah, the blind movement just means that we do have to look out and not dive into water or get into spikes. But yeah, we've mentioned that these walls are kind of slippery, and with double jump, you can make a lot of enhancement on how to climb those walls if you space out the things correctly. We also see blind movement on the side of Lion now, very nice. Hopefully he gets through it as well. It seems to get it very well done. But with the double jump, now another sequence break coming up on the side of Griffs. Needs to be careful to double jump off of the wall and gets it first try easy. is attempting the baguette jump, but does not quite get it, but is now skipping another cutscene to get rid of some boulders, as Lion is also doing his attempt of grotto skip, so hopefully also has no problem with the slippery walls. No, slips once, slips a second time. Yeah, these are exactly what they look like, and the window
Wow.
where you can wall jump is extremely precise, so yeah, taking a few attempts is definitely understandable, as Grifs is now collecting his water vein.
Yeah, I think this is just really great. I mean, Lion struggling with that trick where Grifs was able to get it first try is going to further lead that 21-second differential that we saw as our runners both activated double jump tree. But like, a lot of the tricks in Ori are incredibly precise and incredibly unforgiving. If you don't end up getting that grotto skip that we saw Lion struggling with first try, it makes the trick actually more difficult because it changes the elevation of the platform as it's swinging left and right, and also the distance to the wall. So it just makes that precise setup even more difficult to be able to nail down. But Lion, great job sticking with it. There's still a lot more of Ori left to play. So Lion is definitely not out of the race quite yet. But Grifs, just really solid and smooth play, right? They were saying that they were feeling rusty coming into this race, but I've just seen some nice and steady, smooth gameplay without any real major difficulties or mistakes coming from Grifs so far. 2 kill.
Yeah, definitely does not look rusty to me. Definitely seems like he prepared for the tournament. Getting that ability cell also kind of slippery with the walls, also hard to get. Oh, Lion taking a death will set him back to the water vein, so needs to climb up here again. That is another 10 seconds lost probably. But as you mentioned, there is a lot of Ori left to play. There are some hard tricks to come, but for now, Grifs is going to be the first person to enter the Ginso tree, which is probably the most iconic dungeon of this game, and also holds the most powerful skill for the speedrun. But for now, struggling a bit with the rekindle skip right here. Gets it now, can put in the water vein while Gumo steals it. Always love to see it, as we now get in here and need to do some more double jumping and wall jumping to get up here.
Yeah, Chris doing a great job. 13-minute enter Ginso is definitely going to be on that sub 35 pace that they were hoping to grab for this seed overall. And so nice double jump movement, but takes a bit of a struggle from just a little bit of a unintentional damage boost that they took. And now Grifs with the swinging platform is going to have a much harder time with making that same jump work, but they do make it work. And now Grifs is going to be getting out of the first room. It cannot be stressed enough how much of a vertical dungeon that Ginso actually is. So just one slip up here in one of these first 2 rooms can send you all the way back down to the start, and woo, just barely gets back onto that platform, and now they are going to be escaping it, opting to do the upper route, dropping a safety save so that they know even if they make a mistake here in this spike fall section, they are going to not go back to the entrance there and have to do all that movement again. And now Lion also is going to be entering about a minute behind their opponent coming into Ginso.
Yeah, so Grifs definitely has an advantage. Of course, with that slip up, there is a bit of room for Lion to save, and he gets through the first room without a problem. Also
Nice.
opts to take the safety save at the second room, so should he fall down, he at least does not get reset to the start. But now Grifs on the left has the only real sign combat we see besides the Frankie walk, so let's see if he can space out his shots correctly. Does not quite get all the time he can, but definitely is making some quick works also with just staying where the mini boss is. But no, Lion takes another death, gets sent all the way back to the second room. Oh, that is quite unfortunate for him.
Yeah, Lion was looking so smooth and steady, but just that spike fall room is so tricky because it conserves your position and your momentum relative to where the portals that you enter. But Grifs also taking a death in the mini boss is going to have to restart the entire engagement, and each of these cycles for the mini boss itself, or the phases, excuse me, take like roughly 3 to 5 seconds depending on where and how close you are. But no, Lion taking another death to the same spikefall room is just really not having a good day here in Ginso Tree. It's completely understandable, especially when you are working in a tournament-based setting. But Grifs making it through the mini-boss is now going to try their luck at trying to take a quick death to be able to get another ghost door, to be able to open it up a little bit earlier in order to be able to get access to the next skill, which is Bash 2 kill.
Yeah, and Bash is the most powerful skill we have and probably the most iconic skill. It allows you to lash onto a lantern, a projectile, or an enemy and go into the same direction. And yet another death from Lion. Ginso really not treating him very well. Just means that Grifs will be capitalizing that lead area. Maybe he has the stream open. I think he mentioned that he has it on his phone and is feeling kind of pressure to get back into the race. But yeah, unfortunately, with the death, even more of a deficit. But Griff's utilizing that bash, taking the projectile in one direction and himself in the other, is trying to abuse the fact here that you can do this numerous times on the same projectile, and even uses a double bash to now get through that wall and continue up to do the next big trick, which will be key dupe, as Lion is still struggling with the first half of Genso.
Yeah, nicely done from Lion doing the Mr. Asmus, or his screen name is actually pronounced M. Rasmus, but we've just always called him Mr. Asmus because that's how people initially read it. And it's really funny because I just done this for like years and years, but Griff's doing an excellent job doing the key dupe glitch, putting 3 keys into the door and taking a death close enough to the door is going to allow them to backtrack to their save location, but keeping those 3 keystones in their inventory while they respawn on the map. So going to be a nice way for us to supplement our resource amount as we head into the next area, right? There's going to be a 2-key door on the way to the next skill location, which is Stomp Tree in Thornfelt Swamp. But the 2 keystones that we would normally grab requires clean water and a long swim in order to be able to get through there. But with just a single key duplication glitch allows us to mitigate having to do any of that. And in fact, we will be skipping clean water for this route overall, which is going to save our runners roughly 30 seconds for the run itself. And Grifs now is going to be teleporting out of Ginso. They are out of the Tree of Doom, and they are going to be moving on for their attempts at Swamp Entry as Lion is going to be reaching the Bash Tree.
Yeah, and I do believe Lion could make up some time at least because he did not die to the mini boss. So at least that gives him a bit of more time as Grifs is setting up for that swamp entry. As you mentioned, we don't get clean water, we don't complete the Ginso tree, so we have to do a non-vanilla way to get in there. And since we have Bash and we can manipulate the position of enemies and projectiles, we will do exactly that. It is a trick found in the randomizer actually. So yeah, we will take Ringo, our trusty friend. Oh, bashes the projectile back into Ringo, so can't use him any further. But we will use Ringo to use the projectile to break a floor in the ceiling right there to get access to that stomp tree that we need to get, because this is all skills. So now needs to be careful with his position. We'll opt to use some double bashes, so hopefully gets the angles right. Double bash is just allowing us to follow the projectile, being a 1-frame trick, so not too easy to get, but gets through now. Well done on his side, as Lion is now setting up for key duplication as well. Might have even gotten it while I was talking.
Yeah, great job from Lion on key dupe. Just absolutely nailing it out of the park. Lion definitely looking a little bit more steady. Has a bit of a difficulty getting the ledge. There is a backup you can do that doesn't lose any time, which is just double jumping out of the projectile shot, but maybe just being less familiar or comfortable. Instead, busts out a frame perfect double bash to be able to close that distance themselves, as Grifs is going to be the first to make it over to Stomp Tree, taking up this Mortar Worm shot, using a double bash to be able to have an easier time of getting left flank, and then has to wait for another one. Maybe their health was a little bit too low for the spike damage boost, and now with Stomp, they're going to be making their way through the seed, as Lion on the right is coming to their attempts at the swamp entry, as Grifs just maybe checking one of their settings just in case something was feeling a little bit off.
Yeah, he actually took a death to the spikes you mentioned before, so definitely was a bit more careful on the second try to not repeat that mistake, as hopefully Lion, with skipping that cutscene here as well, can also do a nice, quick and easy stomp entry, or swamp entry rather, as yeah, Griffs is demonstrating that stomp, the fast downwards movement ability. Lion, unfortunately drowning Ringo, needs to take an intentional death to respawn him, and now is trying again. Unfortunately, gets the bash angles not right. But yeah, on the side of Grifs, we're actually gonna get to hear why we call him Ringo, because he will play the drums for us a bit to get to that ability cell right here. As Lion is now in the right setup, using some double bashes, gets through as well, so can be on his way to Stomp 3. And oh, Grifs taking a death to the lasers, needs to do Ringo again, but yeah, minor setback that allows Lion to catch back up a bit.
Wow, all right. So we see Lion as their smooth, steady play, besides maybe just some frog positioning for that entry itself, and busting out some double bashes, drops the double bash and heads all the way back to the key door. I was about to say, if Lion is able to just keep making steady pace throughout, they are going to be able to capitalize, right? Grifs on the left, missing Kuro cutscene skip, which is a very precise bash. So on the left, Grifs is trying to chase the frog to a specific spot, standing a little bit too far to the left and fails Kuro cutscene skip again. Bash actually displaces you through the air by a little bit, and there's a very thin cutscene trigger that is for an 18-second cutscene, and there, Grifs on the third attempt is able to get past that trigger, so pretty much tying even with it. And now they are going to be going for a safety health before they end up heading to the left side of the map. I love this play. It's just going to pad, especially the scary areas that have like 4 damage spikes or even 3 damage spikes, to be able to have a bit of an easier and more safe time as they go through. While Lion, now having conquered their stomp tree, is trying to get out and just is not having the best of times.
Yeah, he has about a 2-minute deficit compared to his opponent, who is now onto his way to Charge Flame, which is the skill we skipped earlier. But Lion still has a lot of time to catch up. There are some hype tricks coming up, and some big deaths could definitely happen for Grifs, but of course we do not hope that will happen for the sake of our runners. Is now skilling air dash, because while Charge Flame is a skill, it's also the skill that that allows us to get to those dash upgrades, and air dash does exactly that, allows us to dash in the air. Lion needs to go for a backup right here. He killed Ringo by accident, so now needs to do the semi-vanilla way of activating the mortars and bashing off of one of them, as Grifs is making his way into Valley Entry, gonna collect some more ability cells to later skill Charge Dash, and for now just stomps the peg to get access to that area and go for his next skill, which he should get in short order, as Lion gets the cutscene skip first try. That is some time saved definitely for him, and I do believe he also does not get the health cell. No, I am lying, he is getting that health cell as well, so no advantage for him there, but also has the safety of that 5th health cell early on, as Grifs is now approaching the birds.
Yeah, so we are going to be explaining a lot of tricks in very, very quick succession here. So here in the valley, bringing the bird up and then stomping on its head is going to actually break the wall with a radius of stomp, being in that splash zone. But upcoming here on the left is going to be fast Stompless, which in order to be able to collect the next skill location, which is going to be Feather or Glide as we call it, we are going to need to break some rocks. So bashing the Spider Shot at an incredibly precise angle is going to send the Spider Shot up. Then, moving over incredibly quickly is going to despawn Sparta the Train, and Spider Shot connecting with the rocks. First try for Grifs on Fast Stompless is going to teleport him to the same location that you normally get for stomping the rocks yourself manually. So, able to collect an additional ability cell while that Spider Shot was going through. Nicely done from Grifs, and getting that first try was very important for them to be able to capitalize on this lead and try and push the pace that they want in this race versus Lion.
Yeah, and Lion has made up 20 seconds, about 20 seconds in between Stomp and Sea Flame, so is on his way. But now, no time to explain that, because we just got Charge Dash, and if we cancel a Charge Dash with a jump, this happens. This is what we call a rocket jump. But the next trick is just about to come up. We take this bird, lure it into a very precise position, and go up into Sorrow Pass that way, instead of doing the vanilla way of getting the wind to already be here. So very well done by Grifs. Doesn't even give me enough time to explain, so definitely shows his expertise with this trick. Now does another rocket jump to bait the shot and can go up and is almost at his next tree right now.
Yeah, nicely done, dropping a safety save there, because Sorrow Bash as well as
But
yeah,
there
big
was a
death from
huge
Lion.
death on the side of Lion as well.
Yeah,
Again.
that's painful because the last save location there is going to be all the way back at the cutscene skip in Grove. So Lion is going to have to not only stomp this peg again, but also traverse all of that distance over again. Valley in general is very brutal because the spikes end up dealing 3 damage each. But on the left, we are going to see our next glitch, which is going to be known as Terror Break, named after the runner who ended up discovering this glitch. So when we die utilizing the skill known as Charge Jump, we actually end up storing the hitbox as well as the damage from Charge Jump itself, which is able to break breakable floors as well as walls in the game. So if we start a save anywhere and end up saving the game at the bottom of this ceiling here that we're going to see momentarily from Grifs, boom, level up the ability to save the game, and then charge jumping and taking a death into the spikes, you end up having the charge jump state for mere moments after you end up respawning, allowing Grifs to be able to break that ceiling and make it up to Sunstone, skipping having to go through the vanilla way because, of course, we sequence broke into Sorrow, right? We didn't do Forlorn to be able to get Wind Restored. We didn't go in and get Climb from Misty Woods itself. Lion attempting Fast Stompless did not get the shot angle that they wanted, and once again, that shot angle looked a little bit too low. Lion catching onto it is now going to attempt again. That shot looks good, but they didn't believe in it, and that is totally okay. This trick is incredibly precise for Lion to be able to get through.
Yeah, definitely. Grifs made it look way easier than it actually is. Now he's going to collect some more XP. We still manage our XP. It is still important to have a look out for that, as he is dropping down into our next area, Misty Woods. As you mentioned, it would have been actually earlier than this. Which also means that we have charge jump to go through that area, which will allow for some smoother movement options, as Lion is now collecting his feather. And what is the inverse of a rocket jump? Of course, a meteor kick. So with that, we are now into Misty Woods and can go through that area. Besides a few mandatory pickups, really nothing to talk about here. The area will change, but besides that, it is just a great show of those charge dashes. We can cancel them by bashing into an enemy or by stomping, so we will definitely see that, because you can see Grifs is only on 1 energy, and each of these charge dashes costs an energy, so needs to be very careful to cancel all of his charge dashes to be able to move even faster.
And this is a little spooky for Grifs because they accidentally dropped 2 energy, right? We can actually end up canceling the energy cost of Charge Dash just by stomping before the Charge Dash ends its full animation, or by bashing an enemy or taking damage from certain damage sources. So Grifs falling on that energy, losing a bit of safety, only on 3 health with 1 energy coming through this final bend. They're able to get through. Nice weave from Grifs to be able to fall through those spikes at a fast rate. They are going to be the first to reach that climb tree. Lion on the right, nice break using that frog shot by getting far enough away for the frog to be able to bait its shot to go further than it normally would be expected to. Grabbing the 100 experience is going to be incredibly important for Lion on the right. Not to taste these tasty spikes. Yes, they are able to get through, starting the save anywhere. They are going to be now heading to Charge Jump Tree, and then heading into Terror Break as Grifs on the left is going to be working through the second half of Misty, one of the hardest execution-based zones in the late game.
Yeah, definitely. You see all those spikes, all those scary spikes, and he needs to be careful. All those lasers are instant death, and this is really the area most people are excited about for speedrunning all skills, because you have all those movement options, all those cool things you can do. So really goes to show, as Lion is getting his Terror Break as well, so going to collect the Sunstone for the final dungeon, as Grifs is about to get his 4th keystone here, so only 1 last mini-boss, or the way on to the mini-boss and the mini-boss itself left, before heading out of this area. Again, we really just go into this area for this 1 skill in the middle and need to traverse all of it, but yeah, it gets through there. So let's see if we can see a mini boss, or if there's just a bunch of XP heading there. So there will be 2 enemies. We get a short look at them at least, but now they are gone. And with that timed level up, because we want to get a refill on our energy, we're just gonna dip our heads into that lantern room, while Lion, unfortunately on the right, takes a death to the lasers dropping down. You need to be careful with the cycle of this, so this time takes it a bit slower as Grifs is moving out and moving towards the teleporter to get back to the starting area and back to the last tree that we need to collect.
Yeah, indeed. And I loved Grif's just steady play through Misty and dropping a bunch of additional safety saves, right? Really just respecting the zone, right? Two damage sources worth of damage for Grifs would have ended up having them take a death. And it, like in Ori, it's so easy to end up taking these big sweeping deaths that lose you 30, 60, 90 seconds. And so just dropping the safety save to be able to control that location is very important because it's very checkpoint sparse in this game, especially as a speed game while we're trying to go through. Nice lever glitch from Grifs on the left to be able to cause a door to be able to open to the waypoint in Blackroot Burrows. We'll be definitely going there at the end after we collect this very final skill, Light Grenade, which is going to open us to a new form of tech known as grenade jumps, which are going to be a one-frame trick to be able to do some really nice fast zoomies off of walls. And Grif's nice cutscene skip going up to Ultra Spirit Magnet to be able to shorten that delay time before pickups start going to Ori, including like health and Spirit Light that drop from enemies, as well as any energy crystals that you might break from an energy crystal source. But Lion making great work through Misty as Grifs now activating their final skill location as they are now heading to the final destination. And oh man, brutal. Big death from Lion on the right.
Yeah, and on the left, Grifs is setting up for one of these grenade jumps you mentioned. Does not get it, unfortunately, so needs to dash glide over the slow zone. Hopefully Lion can get through this area. It has been giving him some trouble as well. Definitely at this point, just trying to get through. Oh no, takes another death. Only has 3 energy going in here as well, so can't drop as many safety saves as you might want to. As Grifs is going to collect a 6 health cell. You would technically only need 5, but gonna play it safe as Misty is definitely not treating Lion very well either, so is going to take the vanilla way because yeah, that Frankie did not want to get rocket jumped off, as Grifs is now on to the final part of the run, is going to head to the final dungeon of the game, and yeah, with some nice movement get there as soon as possible, hopefully. Only on half an energy, so can't really do any weird tricks to get there, as everything kind of requires energy, so needs to be a bit more careful. Since he skipped the cutscene earlier, he wants to go over this, and so he's double bashing this Frankie to get over.
Yeah, we're gonna see if Grif still ends up going for this. There was a new grenade jump that was discovered by myself like a couple of days ago, which ends up saving roughly a second over the old route. And so we'll see Grif's dropping the safety save. Yeah, they're going up to the spot, and yeah, they are going to go for it. I love this from Grif. So charge jumping up, hitting the ceiling to get the second highest pixel, does not get the form that they usually want. Taking a damage from the elemental, but no problem. The backup is just simply to just go through the area as normal, and Grifs is now going to be the first to head into Mount Horu versus their opponent Lion, and all that's left between them is a frame perfect trick, which is door warp, followed by the final escape itself in order to close out the win in this one versus one matchup that we see here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, really not a close matchup. We saw a 5-minute difference at climb because of all these deaths. But Lion's still going to push through. In these races, your placement is actually not the important part, it's the time you get. So it's definitely still going to try for the best time he can get. As Grifs is activating that final cutscene, Kuro swooping down to chase our little Ori. Just needs to go through here, and after that the run is finished. So hopefully can do all the movement. Is not allowed to take a single hit here because we need all that health for the still dirty water by the end of the escape. So going through here, destroying that wall, now bashing here on the elemental, gets through now into the Espen, takes damage, needs to do the escape again. So some time to catch up for Lion, but unfortunately will probably not be enough.
All right, Grifs heading into their second attempt in the escape. No way to save the game, right? No way to be able to sort of mitigate any sort of damage that they will end up keeping. unless they want to like farm an enemy for a really long time, hoping for that 30% energy drop, health drop. But no, Grifs making great work of the elemental room that time. And here, the last place they died, oh no, they're able to get through, but Crow is fast on the way as Grifs stomps, and with 6 health, this poison swim is absolutely pretty much guaranteed to be able to get through. Next up here, getting past the Crow spawn trigger is now going to be able to set up. Remembering to bash to the left, there is one more final grenade jump, the one that saves the most time in the run overall. Grifs being very careful with their position here because it is particular, and gets the skip. GG to Grifs, taking the win and saving that like 30 plus seconds on that cutscene skip themselves. Maybe not the sub 35 that they were hoping to, but nice steady play through the early and late game is going to net them a win here in this matchup for the qualifier. GG Grifs.
Yeah, GG just needs to hold right for a bit longer, and we will see the most important decision of them all. Is Grifs gonna do narrow hops? They optimally save you, or lose you rather, 3 seconds or something. But of course are absolutely optional. Does instead opt to just hold right, absolutely valid, as Lion is also now skipping a cutscene that is, I think, 70 seconds or something long, so definitely worth skipping. Now gets his grenade as well, and we will see how many grenade jumps he is comfortable doing, as he is also going to head for the final dungeon and the final escape. Yeah, but GG to Grifs, and yeah, we had our fastest time with a 27, actually, 27:43 by Rin.
Unreal.
So definitely great show off there as well.
Yeah, just to point that out, that is within a minute of world record. Like, no joke, that is an unbelievable time, and I believe that might be the first. I mean, I'm sure that's the first 28 sub 28 of the tournament, but just Rin making a huge statement with a time like that, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, definitely is the fastest time for now. I think the last qualifier had a 29:32, if I remember correctly. So definitely emphasizing on that. So yeah, GG to Rin for that, as well as Lion is collecting his 6th health as well, is going to teleport back to Swamp. So also just needs to go to that final dungeon and can finish as spoilers on the left side, I guess. But I do expect everyone to have played or at least seen the story before. Yeah, Lion having that energy that Grifs did not have can capitalize on some more rocket jumps and some more charge dashes to get through a bit faster. I think he mentioned before the race that he's not going to go for your new grenade jump, which is definitely understandable. We saw on Grif's side how precise that angle is.
Yeah, nicely. I cannot just stress enough how incredibly proud and impressed I am by Lion's play here, right? This was not an easy run for Lion, right? Losing minutes and minutes just to some really, really tough deaths at various points in the run itself, and just continuing on with it and championing through it and showing off how skilled they are at various incredibly difficult sections, right? First try door warp from Lion, man, what a show of skill and prowess, as now they are heading into the final escape. And I mean, maybe not the time that they were hoping to get away with for their qualifier run here today versus Grifs, especially on a stage such as our Ori speedrunning channel, but just absolutely continuing to put on a display of their skill and prowess to kill as they are coming into their first attempt at the final escape and taking a quick little lava bath in order to relax a bit as they continue on.
Yeah, that's just a typical caster curse for you, going on a tangent for 5 minutes about how great a runner is and then taking an instant death.
Oh, please, no, that doesn't detract from any of that. Lion is doing an incredible job.
Lion is definitely doing a great job, of course. Just being able to finish an all skills run in its entirety is just amazing to me. So definitely showing off greatly, pulling off all the tricks. Now also going to set up for the final grenade jump, spashes to the left as well, because otherwise we will soft block. Gets the setup immediately. Well done. That is not easy.
Yeah, it's like that trick in general, it's very easy to soft lock, and if that happens, you have to like fully reload back out and then head back into the final escape and watch the cutscene for the start of the final escape again. So very particular positioning. very difficult timing, right? It's a frame perfect trick. You have to separate that climb, charge, jump, and grenade by 1/60th of a second. And just Lion getting that first try is absolutely amazing. So well done by them being able to get through. Very tough seed, very tough run for Lion to get through. And they were able to stick with it and continue on and push through. And so here, Lion's going to be finishing the end line with Naru with an official time of 40:37 for their run, just over a bit 4 minutes behind their opponent. But no worries, both of our runners put on an excellent display.
Yeah, and yeah, of course, for Lion and for every other runner, we have the possibility. You are allowed to run a total of 5 qualifiers for the next stage to, well, we will average the time out, so hopefully he will be able to get some better times in the next races, as I can imagine he's not quite happy with that. But with that, we have our runners in here for some interviews. So, yeah, GG to both of you. GG on the runs. How do you think you did? Starting with you, Grifs.
Yeah, thank you. I shouldn't have greeted the elbow drop. That wasn't smart. But at least it didn't die, so I guess that's nice. But otherwise, yeah, I feel like I got kinda a little bit robbed by the game in some places because like some input got eaten or dropped. It's sorry, what you want. But otherwise, yeah, it was alright run. Wanted like 35, sub 35, but 36 I will take it. Still better than I think than the first one of today's
Yes.
quali that I did.
It was.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise it was pretty good. Could be better, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, so just going through that run in general, I guess a question for Lion. I mean, coming into the early game itself, it can be very tight on the EXP amount, and you just made Glades look incredibly easy as you were working through, and then coming into Blackroot, very very nice execution overall. Was there sort of a point in the seed where maybe you had some nerves, or just little bit of fumbles that ended up causing you to have a bit of difficulty with the seed?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the early game was somewhat good, like up to
Right.
dying in BRB. Like that was fine. I don't know. It's just not my race. Like I had some earlier today. Like I did one in the race earlier today, and I had a 34. But like this one was just. It's okay. Like these happen. I get bad runs every so often. And it's like, it's frustrating, but like I can deal. It's fine.
Yeah,
There's still more times to do better. And like
Exactly.
this run was just not my run, but that's fine.
Yeah, I kind of following up on that line. Like, I mean, I was saying later on in the race, like how difficult it is to just continue on when you like end up taking deaths like that, like taking the deaths in Ginso, yada yada yada. Is there something that you do to sort of like level yourself back out and really try and focus in? Like, do you just try and take a few more sort of tight corners and risks to be able to close the distance on your opponent, or do you think you back off a little bit and try and just establish sort of a stoic nature to be able to just calm yourself down and keep going?
For this one, like specifically like in Ginso, I mean, it was just some really dumb things.
No, that's like all of those things have happened to me in tournament races as well. Like you are definitely not alone.
My save didn't go off before I like tried to do to get the quick cycle in the puzzle room. That was just a really bad one. But yeah, like in general, like for this run, the thing I did then is I had the stream up on my phone. I just turned it off, and I was just like, I need to focus and like not pay attention to that anymore. Other than that, like, yeah, I just try sometimes like I try to do like more like harder strats if I'm like slightly farther behind, just to like see if I can make up a bit of time, like what I did in going into Stomp. Like there's like a double bash chain to get up to the Stomp tree that if I'm ahead, like I'm like doing well, I won't do. I'll just like go and like get up to the platform and just do one more bash in the shot. But and I tried that and it messed up. But yeah, sometimes I try to do things to get it farther ahead, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah, unfortunately, didn't quite save you enough time this time. I have a question for Grifs on the topic of saving time. We saw you go for the Kuro cutscene skip, I think, 3 times before
Yes.
getting it. Do you usually just go for the trick over and over, even if it doesn't work out the first few times, or was that just a decision of the moment?
I guess it was mostly like decision at the moment. But I'm pretty sure it's like the second time is break even with the how long the cutscene is. But if you try for like third time, you're already losing time. So, I just kind of wanted to get the trick itself. It's like the position. I'm pretty sure like the position was off for the first few tries for me.
Yeah, definitely. Just getting some practice is probably also good as well.
All right, so I guess one final question from me for Grifs and Lion itself. Coming into qualifier, like this was day one of the qualifier. You folks have an entire week to be able to churn out 3 of your best times out of 5 attempts. So coming into it, do you folks have certain goals as you're going to be coming into the next one, or certain things you're going to do in sort of preparation for that next run? And like, are you planning on doing it like tomorrow, or are you going to wait a few days to be able to get some additional practice in? So I guess why don't we go ahead and start with Lion?
So I mean, my goal is not to get another 40. That would be nice. I think I can definitely get an average of closer to like 34, 35, maybe even like high 33 if I do really well. And I think I just need to, it's like, I mean, I'll probably do 1 more this weekend, maybe 2, and then I'll do the rest next weekend. And just take some time to practice, because I definitely, like, I know I can do better.
Yeah,
I think it was all like, and yeah, it was just more time. I know, like, I'll try maybe 1 or 2 more this weekend, depends how it is, and then yeah, go see what happens from there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I also want to say I know exactly how you feel, Lion, right? Like during one of the weeklies or something, as like sort of mock qualifier practice, I thank goodness I do the save anywhere with the Frankie walk, right? But I took a death right before the 2 key door going down to double jump 3. Got sent all the way back, and I just still pulled out in time. But yeah, good luck, Lion, with your remaining quals. I'm really excited to see what you do. But Grifs, my friend, how are you feeling about the upcoming quals? What's your strategy? What's your plan?
Basically like the same as Lion.
Cool.
I will mostly try to do more practice mostly because of work. I don't have like that much free time like this month. So in future I should have more free time. So looking forward to getting more practice. Maybe we'll try to do 1 more quali this weekend, but we'll see. If probably no, we'll just pass on them on next weekend or Friday,
Awesome.
most likely. But yeah, more practice.
Nice, sounds good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for joining us for an interview, and congrats on Grifs finishing out with a winning time versus Lion. And that being said, congrats once again to the top 3 finishers for the qualifiers today, which were Rin with a 27.43, Cheese Lover with a 32.44, and Lost Didu, or just Didu, with a 33.11. Well played by all of our runners today. And that being said, we are going to close out here, but our next cast is going to be coming up on Sunday at 5 p.m. UTC, which converts to 1 p.m. EDT, and reminder that European time zones are going to be changing as well. And that will feature myself, Covert Muffin, versus Luster, which I'm very excited to take part in that. But some shout outs as we close out tonight. Major thanks to 2Kill for joining me on comms, did an amazing job. Major thanks to Fupio, who was our stats person behind giving us numbers, giving us information about how our runners were doing as the race went on. And of course, major thank you to Grease, our restreamer, for this fine broadcast. But that's going to do it for us tonight. We will see you on Sunday at 5 p.m. UTC. Have a great rest of your evening, folks.